Hey guys, it's Rael Woodson, and today we're going to learn about the 19th Amendment. So, what's our objective and essential question? So, the objective, to understand the what, when, and where of the 19th Amendment. Essential question, what does the 19th Amendment grant for women in the United States? So, before we discuss what the 19th Amendment is, let's briefly learn why it came about. So, during America's early history, women did not have the basic rights of a citizen that white men did. Married women could not go to school, they could not own property, they could not claim money even if they earned it, and they could not vote. So, during this time, women were expected to be mothers and housewives, taking care of the home, only cooking, and only cleaning. But starting around the 1800s, women did not like the fact that they did not have the right to vote. Although the 15th Amendment gave African American men the right to vote, they still didn't include women. So women started to take action. So now we're going to learn about the what, the when, and the where of the 19th Amendment. So first, what is the 19th Amendment? It's an amendment to the Constitution, and it declares that the right of citizens of the United States to vote shall not be denied or abridged by the United States on account of sex. Congress shall have power to enforce this article by appropriate legislation. So, in a nutshell, women are granted the right to vote. Now, when? You might want to mark this on your calendar. It was ratified on August 18th, 1920. And where? All women granted the right to vote in the United States of America. And this little fun fact, this amendment represents the peak of the women's suffrage movement led by the National American Women Suffrage Association. So, the women's suffrage movement. It began in 1848 when a women's rights convention was held in Seneca Falls, New York. Suffragists viewed it as the meeting that launched the suffrage movement. So, for the next 50 years, women's suffrage supporters worked to educate the public about women's suffrage under the leadership of Susan B. Anthony, and we'll learn about her next, Elizabeth Cady Stanton, and others. The suffragists were organized under major organizations. The first one was the National American Women's Suffrage Association, or NAWSA, and their tactics were campaigning and influencing President Wilson and the Congress. The second group was the National Women's Party, which was a radical group that picketed the White House. So, due to the combined efforts, the groups formed a mass movement, and in 1920, the 19th Amendment was finally ratified. So, now we're going to talk about Susan B. Anthony. So she was one of the most important activists during the women's suffrage movement. Her contributions led to the ratification of the 19th Amendment. Anthony vigorously devoted her life to racial, gender, and educational equality. She, along with Elizabeth Cady Stanton, founded the National Women's Suffrage Association, which later became the National American Women's Suffrage Association, and she was the president of it in 1892. In 1900, Anthony persuaded the University of Rochester to finally admit women for the first time, and they did. So women in the U.S. definitely have a lot to thank Susan B. Anthony for. Okay, so that was the end of the discussion, so now we'll have review time. So the first question, what is the 19th Amendment? Is it A, give citizens the right to bear arms, B, give citizens the right to due process, C, grant women the right to vote, or D, took away the 18th Amendment? And the answer is C, the 19th Amendment granted women the right to vote. And the second question, which one of these women was a women's suffrage activist? Was it A, Rosa Parks, B, Susan B. Anthony, C, Beyonce, or D, Rosie the Riveter? And the answer is B, Susan B. Anthony. So I hope you guys learned a lot about the 19th Amendment, and thanks for listening.